morning, everyone. Welcome to episode 2.
Today is going to be a bit complex, so I end up separating this on two parts because I've noticed right now what I've noticed, they're giving them more deeper and deeper knowledge because we already have the foundation of quantum protocol and quantum alchemy. And so when they gave me like a 2 pages. I know it's going to be too much because by the time I finish 4 sentences and try to explain in a whiteboard, the next level will be, we're going to lose each other, because it's just too much. But I'll keep it usually like 10 to 15 minutes to explain whatever. You have your questions after that. And then we dig in more with that because, with me, sometimes I don't know what the extra info will come in when your questions coming in. The next 2 weeks after this one, we're going to have the second part. And the first part is all that is about how all is connected in a vibrational sequence of the quantum structure. Basically, the sound, the vibration, the frequency that all the quantum structure is made of, and you guys know that from the first and second video, the Trinity structure with a frequency and sound. They are getting deeper how this is done and what exactly happening in the quantum structure, how you really teleport yourself and how you're really getting into the structure and what that means. So I'm gonna actually share screen and I'm gonna show you the writing of what I downloaded. Because sometimes I don't know what I download. They just tell me, and they know by our consciousness how well we are taking the information, and this is how I'm getting the next info. So you guys got to understand, when you're connected with me, when we do stuff, they know, whoever is learning consciously, if you're ready for the next level, including me, because I'm learning with you, ahead of you, but then I know how to break it down because it's instantaneous. I kind of know it, but I'm remembering it. That's what they told me, that all that info I know already, but I'm remembering, downloading it from the structure, whatever is necessary. We have 2 parts. What I did was sound, quantum, continuum, vibration. This is what they give me, and that's all we're going to talk about it today, because believe me, this sentence is going to be probably 15 minutes of me explaining, and then you guys can ask questions. So it's not going to be it's a little bit challenging, but I'm here for the work. And the second one is restoration, how you restoring the structure, what's happening when you restore the structure. So this is more in the quantum, but guys, you do understand that when I download information is a specific sequence. I did not change one word, if any of that I downloaded. I said maybe I put 2 or with, because sometimes when you download for me, don't think it's because I know it's my second language, English, but I really downloading it the way they tell me. So if it doesn't make phonetically or whatever the proper English, so-called, and what is proper, we all know is being manipulated in a structure so we can create negative realities, the way we speak and rewording everything. This is the reason why they want to teach us how this works. Because when you start expressing your consciousness, and when you start talking, which is sonic vibrational sound, that's what they're saying when you speak out. This is the sound, a sonic vibration that comes out of our mouth, which is a frequency, creates this type of structure and whirlpool in the reality around you. And this is what, when you combine with the thoughts and the action, creates the hologram and the portals that you're creating in a timeline. So that's why it's so fundamental, this material, to know very well, because then when you're speaking, you say some kind of a negative word, you need to know exactly what you're doing around your structure and what you're manifesting. So that's why watching negative movies, listening to negative music, or any type of that movie that is in the structures of bad words is actually creating the platforms of realities for us that are in the lower vibrational sequence. That is how you're tuning into timelines of very low density where entities of negative structures can exist. And the goal was to keep you through information, media, movies, everything else, and that vibrational sequence because then you trap in your own illusion of reality, because you don't know when you're praying the way, for example, in a Judaism, and I love any type of religion, so you must know that I love everybody, but when they pray in Torah actually is the you can watch a video of this lady. I'm gonna have to find it and we can post a link, which is a Jewish lady. She ended up researching a lot, and she discovered that basically Torah is actually Babylonian structure of words. And when you're constantly praying and you're creating these timelines, you are actually holding the vibration of the 3D archon structure. That's what you were creating. Why do you think they make them pray all day long in front of this wall and stuff like this? That is because we're supporting this structure. So anybody that is Jewish is not against Judaism, is about what I've learned from that lady, and it makes total sense. But this is not only with the Judaism, this is also with a lot of religions. You know, so be careful with your prayer, what you say, because that is actually end up creating the sonic vibration platform that is whirlpooling your holographic expressions that you're projecting in a hologram. And that intent, it's crystallizing and becomes a matter, and you're looping in a whirlpool constantly in a platforms that are dense negative reality. So don't be surprised when constantly negativity is coming around, because you don't even know that you are projecting these structures. So what they were saying here, can anybody see the screen clearly? The sound, you know, I'm gonna break it down every word if I have to, because I just learned yesterday something also. Don't think I know everything. I'm learning through the process. And you know that the sound was basically measured by hertz, and is basically waveform. And 1 hertz is going to be this length. Then when you come from here and make another one like this, is gonna be, now this is one, as we know, we already know what is frequency. 1 hertz, 2 hertz is how much the vibration is going back and forth. So they say sound continuum, and I've learned a continuum is something that is repetition in a structure, that is keep coming and coming and coming. And vibration, you know that frequency vibration, basically they say sound of the continuum of the sound basically becomes a vibration that is basically resonating in whatever frequency in this quantum structure. So that's what they talk about it, how the sound through the quantum structure becomes a continuum of constant repetition in the structure, how we're doing that. So they say it's sonic, means like comes like almost like a light of sound, you know, of specific, you can hear it basically. Equilibrium cymatic, and the cymatic is also a word for the way you expressing yourself, the way it resonates in a structure. Cymatic, I'm downloading it. Cymatic is symphonic liquidating sequences that are repeating in a fractal structure momentum, implemented in a whirlpool of realities, creating a portals and sympathetic structures of most commonly known as a platforms. Okay, so this is what I just downloaded for what is cymatic. So they say this creates a, when we speak a word, basically creates a sonic continuum vibration, equilibrium cymatic. And the reason why they wanted this to sound, and the word is sound continuum vibrationary sonic equilibrium cymatic. It's a specific sequence the way they gave it to us. And when you say stuff like this, that by the fractal is creating a specific whirlpool in the hologram. This is the reason why they give it one after the other, because it's creating a platform, then another one, then another one. And if we put with Billy, if we know sacred geometry, and you put exactly first sound and continue vibrationally, I guarantee you, if we know how to do that, I need help with that, we're gonna see absolute structure in geometry, just exactly what I said here. Okay, so this is why it's so fundamental to know this. Then they were taking, they were saying, this is holographic expression in your memory bank. Not only when we do something like this in the hologram, the way you have your hologram, when you, this is, for example, in this momentum, in a fractal, you know, everything is in the now. In a fractal is your hologram. But in that hologram, the way you exist in, anything that comes in, the whole hologram, it's based on this cymatic sonic vibration. It literally creates the plastering in a holographic expression at that particular momentum based on exactly what you said. That's why it's so fundamental for us to understand. And they say towards the sonic materialization of your holographic expression continuum. That means every time I speak something, I'm plastering vibrational sequence in geometry, creating my own hologram in this fractal space continuum. Why is it continuum? Because into what is continuum? Repetition. Well, this hologram has infinite holograms within it, probabilities within it, infinite timelines and infinite reality, because it splits us, because each hologram for itself in its own earth and its own structure. So what does that mean? It's infinite. Every moment to moment, it's infinite reality, infinite probabilities. Your job is to stay in a vibration. So basically your words are sonic materialization of your holographic expression. At the moment you say something and you think it together with the thoughts and the action, and it clusters this geometry into the quantum field. And what they said was, it creates vortexes, and you guys, you know what vortex is, you know, and vortex could be also like this. Vortex could be also like that. So this is the vortex. Remember, here in the middle is a 0 point, you know. It creates vortexes, which is the vortex, but the vortex cannot be, could be this way, it could be horizontal and vertical. So depending. Oh, they also said vortexes can also be depending on the degree of the geometry. So vortex could be 360 degrees in a platform, can switch, and then you can measure it, you know, whatever you need in a quantum structure's geometry. So they said an expanse creates vortexes and expand like an elastic into a whirlpool structure, wormhole, holographic tunnel. That means this vortex is creating a tunnel into your hologram and is actually shifting you from one platform to another. And because it's continuing and because it's infinite, becomes back and forth like this, like elastic. And this is why moment to moment everything in the structure is becoming repetition. Remember Great Braden when was saying when you cut the structure is the same of the previous? This is exactly, they explained to me why is the same the previous. If you were asking why the structure is repeating, this is exactly why it's repeating, because of the vortex's creation, becomes like an elastic back and forth and is repeating to infinite of structures into the quantum structure. This is why we creating all that stuff that is infinite, because of the repetition of the vortex and the way it's spinning. And they said that is plastering infinite continuum, infinite repetition into the matrix and creates an illusion of reality over and over again. That is as we know it as a matter. Because of the repetition in the structure, this is how we create the matter. They're telling us how we actually, through the structure, creating the matter on this vortexes. What is the vortex? Go back into the frequency sound and comes back to your word. So imagine while we're speaking, look at what we're creating and look at how you created now your matter in your reality. It's phenomenal what we're doing. So if somebody starts saying something negative, think exactly what you're doing in your structure. Okay. And so they said they said that this is repetition over and over again, and that is what it looks and feels like solid to you, but it's actually cymatic sonic sound, continuing vibration, elastic frequency whirlpool. And again, this was given in a sequence. So if we know how to do sacred geometry and we plaster in every single world, you're gonna see right now in geometry I can show you. Unfortunately, I need help with that. So if anybody knows how to do sacred geometry, Billy is trying. But it's really, really complex, guys, because somebody really needs to know sacred geometry to make very complex patterns like this. And I would love to do it, but you know, unfortunately, I do a lot of other stuff. So I would leave that to an expert to help me with. So basically, this is the first part, because the second part is restoration. How you do all that in restoration, plastering this into the holographic reality. So when we see each other next, in the 2 weeks from now, we're gonna repeat some of this and go into the second structure, because it becomes very complex if I continue with the rest of the material. So does anybody so far understand anything I said? Because I'm trying my best to.
Yeah, well, before I unmute everyone, I just kind of want to sum up what you kind of were saying so everyone can kind of get the simple idea. It's like, so our thoughts and the way that we speak and the words that we choose is sacred geometry, and it creates a vortex to our hologram, and it oscillates, or it continues to project based on that.
Yeah.
With like cymatics, which is the vibration and the cause of it, right?
Because it's carrying that vibration cymatic through the structure, it's almost like a ripple effect.
Okay. And then within that, does the oscillation or that pulsating that you were talking about, is that like, does our breath have anything to do with that?
The breath?
Yeah, like, does it create any more of the vortex or help with that?
The intention.
Oh, the
has
intention.
a lot to do with it. The intention is the frequency.
Gotcha. Okay.
And the thought of it. The thought, remember what they were saying, it doesn't matter. For example, if you do something negative and you're lying to somebody, they said it doesn't matter if it's a big lie or a small lie or a white lie, they call it. It's still the intention is what creates the vortex, and the potency could be slightly different, and yet you plastering that frequency into the holographic expression because your words are creating exactly this in a quantum structure. So now we know when we speak what we do around us. So maybe we should start learning how to control ourselves, not to say negative stuff or watch negative movies and stuff like that, because watching the movie is actually, you're still hearing words, but somebody is projecting these words on top of you, which is plastering holographic vortexes of holograms on top of you. So basically, somebody intentionally is projecting this, and this is how, oh, look at this, I got another info. This is how they're plastering information in your hologram. And you're switching your structures when this is how they can overtake your hologram. When you believe that whatever you see on TV, basically the mirror image is true, immediately they switch in your platform. And you are resonating now, I said in a positive, you end up resonating in the negative, because this is how they overtaking and plastering completely different holographic image in your consciousness, replacing it basically. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I know why this is happening.
Yeah.
There's
so much advertising because visually it affects our hologram to consume and all that. So we have a question from Laura. Are you ready for the Q&A, Marina?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
My question is, do our thoughts and intentions have the same effect as the spoken word?
It's different spinning, but in actuality, it becomes a one structure because it's made from the source, made from the whole structure, made from the same structure. So yes, It's
Okay, thank
it's mimicking.
Okay, thank you.
Spoken words has a sequence that is slightly different, and it becomes more potent. And yet, the thought that you project towards somebody, they showing me how, for example, somebody that is doing the voodoo work is combining that. They were talking repetition, 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 because they know about this plastering. So yeah, it's fundamental how you do it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for your question. Hi, oh hi.
I wanted to know if we can use sound or tone of a letter or number to discover our own frequency signature. And if so, how does that, if we start to hum that frequency, how does that affect our ability to jump timelines or change the hologram?
It has to be intention to that to complete the Trinity structure, and also a belief system into it. When it's very potent, can overtake. So you have to be careful what type of intention you're putting into. Fundamental. For the letters and the numbers, they are fundamental when you know sacred geometry, and when you know, I'm downloading this information, so give me a second here. When you know the sacred geometry, and when you know latitude, altitude becomes like a latitude, altitude in a quantum structure, and then you plaster in different realities. So whoever knows anything to do with how the numbers in a sequences work can combine different patterns of realities that are based on sacred geometry, and this is how you create worlds or existence of a holograms that are based on a different belief systems. And yet, if you know how to implement, you can create very, very dark negative matter. So you have to be careful how you implement in that, and you have to also know sacred geometry. And why is that? Because with a combination of sound, sonic, and location, latitude, altitude in a quantum structure, you create numbers and sequences of Fibonacci whirlpools that are really opening in a certain structure. Seeing a different thought of a negative thought will have a different spin in a structure, which will give you a different whirlpool in a structure, and that is going to create holographic images that are based on different timelines of a dense matter negative structures. So it's fundamental, your thoughts and projection combining with the numbers of the sacred geometry to be in a positive structure in order for you to tune in and line yourself up with a higher existence of love structures.
So I have a question about the light language. I usually hear them because I feel vibration from everything. Like I usually hear them, they're pretty high frequency usually, but I recently hear something which is not that high. So my first question is there any like a low frequency light language exist? And also if we combine light language and the sacred geometry, can we create maximum effect from the combination?
Very good question. Yes, but you have to be careful with the light languages. The only way we can prove if this really work if you prove that by scientific platforms. Basically, scientists to come in, and when you speak, for example, some kind of a light language, will actually measure the frequency, vibration, and the sonic tonality, and that is going to see in what type of levels you are resonating through some kind of a machinery. Because a lot of people can say, I speak the light language. Well, how do you know? How do you know what it created in a whirlpool when you don't have a backup on what it's doing? You can prove that through scientific work, through certain equipments, what it's doing in the quantum structure when you start speaking these languages, because the truth is a lot of manipulation and you don't know who is speaking what. We know when we talk like this, you can tell when I say something nice and when I not. How do you know when you speak this whatever called light language is exactly the platforms that we need to download? Because you don't know what you're speaking. Right? So it's very fundamental for us to learn and to have a deeper understanding. I think the people that will come out, because they did tell me that these languages were extinct, and the reason why they were extinct, because then you create all this negative stuff, right? All this their thing, because they create positive structures, and they were suppressed of different sound, different vibration that we. So the light language is probably something that I'm sure somebody is downloading this information on the earth, but I cannot prove it to you. Tell this is the person, this is not the person. First, I have no right to judge anybody because they're doing through their belief system. But if somebody claims that they know the light language, we can prove that through science. What does it do and what type of a platform geometry it's created in the structure of the field. This is through scientific work is easily to be shown. So that's why I never want to back up anybody that talks like language, except if I see scientific work with that, because it's very, very fun. Because positive word or whatever word or sound has a different spin in the quantum structure, which depending on the spin is creating different timeline. You need to know the platforms of that. And how do you know that when we don't even recognize our own languages right now, what we're doing, right?
But we can, I mean, not everybody, but some people can feel the vibration. I mean,
Yeah, they can feel the vibration. Yeah.
Like human word, like let's say when they say some negative word, I can just feel like really low vibration.
There is a woman in Australia that she would literally, and I don't remember her name, that she would literally see the sounds, and she can recognize negative structure from positive depending on the color. And she was taught how to remove stuff and how to plaster it, and was doing all this with her hands. It's phenomenal what people can do. So there are people that really do incredible job with when it comes to sound, and they can see the sound and they can hear the vibrations. I don't know anybody about the light language yet that came across me to because if I say yes, I have to make sure that I prove that through scientific.
Yeah, it has to be safe.
And consciousness, we have to show the way I'm saying this stuff to you, but I'm showing you the science behind it, because you cannot say no to the science. You're gonna see it as like a math.
Yeah, it has to be safe for everyone, because
Yeah,
it's not like everybody can tell the difference. Because I thought light language is like all of them are pretty high. So far, what I heard was high, but I heard one of the MK Ultra victim girl, she started to talking about light language, and that wasn't high. She's going to the right direction, but the language itself wasn't high at all. So like that's why I discovered the difference. Yeah, so I agree with you. It has to be proven by some kind of a technology, so everybody can access to high vibration language.
there's a lot of scientific work right now. If you go to physics, remember I was showing you on the harmonic reactor YouTube channel. It's go under the channels that I like, and there's the physics group. There was just last time, the last video was from a scientist that actually measuring from the sound of your voice, all the geometry is phenomenal information. So I would strongly suggest for you guys to look into it, because it was a lot of proof there of exactly what I was talking about for the sound vibration.
When she's in a meeting and several colleagues are conversing and using words such as hate, not possible, too complex, are shared, how do you keep from being engulfed in this vibration?
Oh, how do you protect yourself from that vibration?
Yes.
Overriding it. Remember when I was taking, you have to look at it as a 0 point and you pull yourself out of the platform? You're gonna actually have to just observe it without giving any emotion into the structure to preserve your own hologram within the collective their hologram. Because remember, your hologram timeline is for itself, and yet you are existing in the collective for whatever environment you end up yourself going into. So to preserve that, you're gonna constantly think that I'm watching a hologram. Thank you very much for existing in my hologram, because you do not want to tell, oh my God, these people are so stupid, I can't believe what they're saying, because at the moment you do that, you're engaging and projecting a frequency. This you're going to learn in video number 2 and video number 3, how you pull out of the hologram and how you overriding the frequency structure from somebody that is sending you. This is video number 2 and 3 in Quantum Manifestation series. So you're going to pull out, you're going to neutralize it by giving a gratitude. Then you hold in your space in a collective hologram, almost like you're building a shield. And then hold the space of joy and happiness, of gratitude that you experience no matter what that is. But then you don't have to particularly agree what they're saying. And stop projecting now. Once you completely level everything, you understand what they're doing. You say, thank you very much. I know I'm love. I know and stop projecting only positive thoughts and positive action. You don't have to say anything to them, but you can project that, and you're gonna override this no matter what they said over and over and over and over again, in order to switch your timeline from that momentum and create a brand new holographic expression you're gonna shift yourself into. So all of a sudden they talk something negative, but because you've been putting positive, accordingly to whatever vibration you're creating in this particular momentum, remember that everything is in the now, and whatever you feel at that moment, no matter what they say, you're putting only positive. This is what you're shifting the next momentum into. This is a quantum bylaw we talk about. Everything is moment to moment. Whatever I project from you right now, whatever I say to you right now, whatever I feel for you right now, this is what I'm projecting, and this is what I'm shifting and creating the next momentum into. So once you keep doing it on and on and on and on, even if they continue saying something, because you end up putting so much frequency that is so potent, vortexes in your quantum structure, the next momentum when you crystallize this, become so potent, is going to go poof, and you're going to shift, and all of a sudden you may hear, oh, that's enough talking, let's go and have a coffee. And all of a sudden they stop. Can happen to ultimate and infinite probability of outcome how this may occur. So you need to just hold the space of 0 point, gratitude, stop projecting and take an action to positive in order for you to project, create, rebuild, and shift it to a new hologram with a brand new positive outcome. Video number 2 and video number 3 in Quantum Manifestation. That's what you learn there for.
So I wanted to understand, because a lot of words, they have the same sound, but they're different words. They have different meanings. Like examples like metal, 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 metal. So you have the metal as a substance, metal as a flat, usually round piece is like of metal for an award. Metal, M-E-T-T-L-E means courage, spirits, often in battle.
Very good
And then
question.
metal is a verb, to mess with somebody's.
Very good question. Thank you. This is where now, remember when somebody asked me and I said the intention? This is where the thought and intention and understanding of your consciousness comes into fruition. Because the word of itself makes no difference whatsoever until you put a meaning into it. Once you put a meaning, and when you project the sound vibrational sequence, poof, becomes matter. In reality, whirlpool, immediately, basically geometry in your quantum structure. Because remember, we are geometry basically, we light and sound. So that's why when you say something and you have a thought of meaning of it, you project, this is how it becomes plasma and gravitational field. That's why I was talking about Trinity structure. Remember that video of Trinity structure, the thoughts, the emotion, and then the action? This is the reason why. Because the sound and the vibration, it's carried with the thought, becomes very potent structure.
Okay. But could also be like people can be confused because sometimes
Repetition.
I've had to.
The repetition.
Mm-hmm.
The repetition is what is making this continuum of elastic. Do-doom, do-doom, do-doom. That's like a pulsation, breathing in and now, doom, 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 constantly. And remember, in the middle, you have the 0 point that is like breathing. When you breathe in and breathe out, you have like a fraction of stopping to get to the other, because one is expanding to the infinite, one is expanding to the smallest of the smallest. And this is exactly what's happening. It's like a breathing. And this is, imagine that momentum of the breathing expands to your entire universe, collapses to the entire universe in the backward. This is the reason why it's so fundamental to understand is the elastic, because when it goes like this, goes to the infinite, and it goes back, goes to the smallest of the smallest. So that's why you have this repetition through the structure of whirlpool and basically continuum. And the repetition is the one that is doing the repetition, is this continuum of the growth. Is basically through every platform of your existing in the now, through every type of timelines to infinite, is going the same repetition. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think so.
Did I lose you a bit?
Is it like each time you repeat it, like it comes in and out, and it becomes stronger once you...
Stronger and stronger. Think of it building a brick.
Mm-hmm.
Like, think of it, you have a hologram and you put the foundation of the thought. And then you have to take the action and the sound, right? Whatever you're doing, because the action is also created with sound and all that, you know, is make it potency. Think of, you have the foundation. Now you gotta do the repetition, the doom, the doom, the doom, the doom. And think of it like you're building basically a hologram, and each momentum that you take in action, thoughts and deeds, it plastering another brick, and all of a sudden you have a dome. But that dome will be completed when it's enough potency to expand, like almost like an atomic bomb. Doom, you know.
Okay.
That's you crystallize that. This is the crystallization, by expanding it and really becoming a matter, basically becomes a reality in your hologram, because you end up creating by your own doing, thoughts and actions and sound, your own hologram. You are a master, and you're mastering how to create your own world. Well, what better is that? So when you do the repetition, that's why I'm saying repetition, that repetition is building brick by brick by brick by brick, woof, expands.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, good.
Okay.
Thanks for the question.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And remember, you have to hold the vibration. When you build that, I want you to hold the same joy vibration when you're building it, so it has similar frequency. Because if you drop your emotion to negative and a down, you're gonna shut down that holographic that you're building brick by brick. Even if they do something negative, you're gonna continue building, because that image is just an illusion.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right, good. Thank you.
I was curious to know whether certain notes or tones of a scale, say like C sharp, or it could be beneficial to us, assisting in raising our vibration. I heard that C sharp was the vibration of the earth.
No, that is correct, because it's subtones to infinite into the platform. So if somebody says maybe C sharp, maybe the tonality and specific momentum, but it's like so many of them, and that is depending on the platform that you are, where you are, in what location are you at, and how much vibration in this moment. It's I think it's a lot more complex, but overall is depending on the structure that you're measuring from.
Okay. I had a second part, if I could, about, yeah, I think you mentioned this, I don't know where else to get this, but the treatment of distilled water under certain frequencies or time frames, that was covered in one of your webinars, but I don't know if there's any more information on your quantum manifestation series.
For everybody, I said that the frequency and sound overall to keep your, if anybody is asking the question here, what's happening, I have a video that is called Frequency and Sound.
Okay.
And it's talking about crystallizing water with frequency. And what they said is 3 hertz, 70 hertz, and 90 hertz.
Okay.
And the whole video is telling you that. And for everybody, as general, is 20 minutes of vibration. And watch the video because it's a certain protocol how you do that. But if it's individual, depending on the situation, I can't tell you what is individual, because when people come for a session, they have totally different individual vibration. They may have 3 hertz, 70 hertz, and 90, but the duration of that potency repetition is different for everybody.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. And that is depending on what you need to heal. And that doesn't mean you're going to be healed, but you're going to be helped through the process. So I'm not saying, and I'm not claiming that I'm healing everybody. It's just process to maybe align the body so it can heal itself. And sometimes when I did a huge webinar from England with Eleni, I didn't know that they were going to give me for each person. When I give how many minutes, 38 minutes, they would tell me, oh, for that person, 38 minutes for 3 hertz is needed because this is and this is and this is what is doing in their own energetic field. I didn't know that they were going to tell me that. This was the first time I ever did it. You know,
Thank you, Marina.
I didn't know that they were going to tell me exactly what it does. For everybody is different. 20 minutes is generic for every single person.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thank you.
I don't listen to music anymore because there are a lot of bad vibration in it. Anyhow, when they put sound effect or music in the movie, even though like a movie itself is kind of like a heartwarming, like good movie, can they lower the vibration of the movie? And also mess up our torsion field, like affecting us some our hologram, like in some way, like manipulating.
And well, what do you think a lot of the music in the 80s was going on there?
It's bad.
I cannot tell you what artists, what they did, but listen to the words, the devil or anything that is provocative or something that is telling you to do something or anything sexual or I cannot pinpoint because I didn't listen to a lot of heavy metal stuff like this, but I strongly suggest you research into manipulation in music and something to do, I think, Illuminati and music industry.
I already know that.
I think I watched some kind of video like this and it was phenomenal when because they will give you exactly how they did it and what they were doing. So I can't claim that I know too much about who did what, but I just, I've noticed that anything that is meditational music, harp music, it's very, very helpful. And you know how you recognize how the music resonates with you and is a positive structure? When you listen to a music and all of a sudden you get a wave of energy that is relaxing, but you get a goosebumps, it's resonating totally in your structure. It's basically giving you such a high resonance that you get in a goosebumps. That is literally penetrated your platform. It makes you feel really good. That's how you recognize the music. You know, and yet you've got to understand that I cannot tell you and certain artists, because I know that they, for certain music, even if it's a good song, they can implement a vibrational sound that is actually distorting your frequency. And whoever is knowing all the stuff, the phenomenal what they can do in your structure.
So
So
that goes same in the
part.
movie, right?
I'm sorry?
That goes same in the movie. Even though like a movie is a good movie, they can mess up the vibration. Like let's say
Yeah.
they can reach 100% like a good vibration, but by putting horrible like vibration in it with sound and music.
Not only sound, they can put images that are hidden images. Watch hidden images in Disney movies, and you're gonna be in shock to see what is there.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah, so watch hidden images in movies and stuff, and somebody, I think is when you slow down the image, and you're gonna see all of a sudden some kind of an image is gonna pop up there that you had no idea that just was there. And this is how they're plastering in your geometric patterns in your subconscious, this stuff. You know, that's what's going on. But listen, I always said that we should stay in a positive. All my information is regarding how to shift the platforms of the matrix, because you're the creator. Here we've been given the knowledge because I may be the conduit, but I'm not the one that is giving you the knowledge. I'm just sticking to the platform and doing the best that I can. But I really appreciate all my guidance and everybody and all the ETs that are helping so we can gather this information. So I can't claim that I'm the person to do it, because I'm just a conduit, and I really appreciate for the opportunity that was given to me. But at the same time, we're all learning, and we all have to learn through the process and be the best of ourselves, because the only way we're going to create this type of realities if we coexist and start really building a new society for ourselves. Because remember, we're the ones that are projecting this in a quantum structure. So it doesn't matter who is manipulating what. It's important for us to project and shift to our own timeline that we created, because we already been given the alchemy of creation. Why do I need somebody else to tell me what my reality should be? When I know that I can create my own, yet I will do it anything in the name of humanity from my heart to gain our sovereignty, and I will hold the light. How do you do that? By giving an example, by being the example, by living moment to moment in the heart structure. Going to the store, help somebody. What can I do today to smile? Smile, because nothing else exists except your momentum in the now. And depending on what you do right now, this is what you construct and shift the next momentum into. And more repetition becomes a state of natural reality for you, that all of a sudden you're going to crystallize. And most of the stuff, even if it's a challenge, is not going to be that complicated for you, because you're going to know how to shift and move on. And no longer this negative structure will be into your peripheral of reality or coming to your platform, because it simply does not match your resonance of geometry whirlpool that you created for yourself. But you may see something is happening, and yet because we're going through the process of ascension, you're going to see a system collapse somewhere, somebody was arrested, the third person something, or all of a sudden in the town, new person came in, and you can see eco town, or they stop with the pesticides, all that because you start doing it, projecting in your hologram, and you start creating a timelines of probability based on your belief system, based on the stuff that you created. So that's why it's fundamental when we do this stuff, for you to hold the light, because accordingly to your light, it's your own creation of realities, not mine. I'm just simply giving whatever was given to us, and yet you don't need me to tell you what your reality should be. I'm giving you the knowledge, the alchemy, so you can create your reality the way and you be the beacon of light if you wish to do so. So that is important, because we all are in a collective.
I also read something too. I heard that if you listen to Swan Lake,
Tchaikovsky,
yeah, before you watch, let's say, a horror movie, and then after, like the two themes, it'll help balance you out. Is that true?
Well, sometimes you watch, like, what did I watch? Oh, Skyscraper, I watched with The Rock. But the reason why I wanted to watch, because I love the technology. They had a certain technology, but what I was doing, I was actually, whatever the fight scenes were, I was actually fast forwarding, because I didn't want to watch too much of the fight. Even I like The Rock, and stuff like this was cool technology in there. sometimes you want to enjoy some kind of an action movie, because let's face it, I don't want all day long to be with the flying the birds and oh, the moon is beautiful. You know, I want some kind of an action sometimes. So if you want to watch something that is more like an action, make sure you don't do it all the time when you do that. But understand that even an action, depending on the frequencies, can create, because I know people that watch some kind of a movie, especially when you low vibration, and they had a horrible dreams that night. So that dreams is what? Immediately they created a holographic expression in another platform of reality, timeline. And they end up existing in this timeline because they end up getting, so I know everybody experienced that. How many times we watch a movie and all of a sudden you have these horror dreams and stuff like that? Because somebody plastered this in your subconscious, and you went ahead and created sub-realities in another platform that you also exist in now. Do you see how this works now? That's why don't stay on the negative movies all the time. If you want to do some entertainment, maybe once in a while, but always make sure what are the words, what is the intention. Because if, look at all the extraterrestrial movies. I just watched the UFO that I liked. There are only a couple of extraterrestrial movies that are really nice. Everything else, everybody's scary, everybody's taking over. Why do you think that is? Because then you're scared. If you get through all your history, somebody telling you they're so nice, and all of a sudden you see them, you're not going to be afraid of them. This was done subconsciously, so you reject them because they know that only ETs that are benevolent will be able to bring down the grids and the structures that they were manipulating us with. Because if you put a grid around the planet and you do super technologies on top of us, how in the world you're going to be able to free yourself? You need an outside help with that because of this super technology that they were using on top of us. That's why a lot of people are afraid. I've seen on Facebook somebody was laughing because somebody was saying, you got to be crazy to believe in extraterrestrials. Well, okay. Why would you judge the person of their belief system? And how can you possibly believe that of all the planets in the entire universe is only us? Why don't you simply use the logic? And then you do your research without you bashing people. I voted Republican and I voted the Democrat. I will pick the person I wanted. But when you start digging deeper and start using the research, then it's more clear picture of everything that is happening. So that's why instead of picking one side or another, why not unity and go with name of humanity?
If talking with softer or quieter voice is more beneficial than, I would say, a louder voice, and then is self-rego frequency safe and good? Or self-regio, I forget how you say it.
Oh, yeah, that will be connected with the potency. For example, Billy, for example, you did something, you being naughty today, you know, and I said, Billy, don't do that. You know, this is not nice. Do you think you're going to take me seriously? Compare with, Billy, do not do that. This is not nice. The sound vibration is more potent and is given with a certain potency that you will pay more attention because of the vibrational sequence. The vibrational sequence is almost, think of it as a pill. If you want to heal something and you know the person had a bronchitis, you're not going to give them 250 milligrams, you're going to give them 500 milligrams. The same thing when it comes to the potency. That's the reason why they tell you, oh, don't say it with a soft sound, because with the soft sound, you're not singing a lullaby to the person. You want the person to make really pay attention. So yes, it's fundamental how you express yourself. That's why when I talk to Simi, nobody can say, oh, Marina is not passionate what I say, because it's exactly the opposite. I'm very passionate when I say about this stuff, to the point that somebody asked me, am I angry? I said, I'm not angry. This is my personality, you know, this is how I talk, so it's really funny. But, you know, that's how you do that. Yeah, it's fundamental, it's different potency. What, solfeggio, what?
Yeah, like SOLFEGGIO. It's like solfeggio or so.
Yeah.
They asked if they're safe or good.
Oh, depending how they implement it. Remember when I was talking in the harmonic reactor, you have frequency and sound there, you have the numbers in a collective. All the numbers are doing something in a structure. The combination of the number is fundamental. How you do it. You know, because, oh, you're so silly. You know that that sound is not intentionally to make you feel stupid. You know you're gonna laugh when I say something, you know, because, oh my God, this is ridiculous. What did you just do? You know, here, look at what you did. You know, we're all gonna laugh. But if I say, it's so stupid, it's so silly, you're gonna take me in a different way, because the intention, the resonance that I'm sending in your platform is based on completely different frequency. So that's why the sound vibrational sequence is fundamental when you do stuff, because you know the difference. You know the difference and you can feel it. And this is why it's so important how we implement that.
Yeah. So it's a lot to do with feeling.
Oh yeah.
Basically, I wanted to know where death falls in. If we're holograms and we're vibration, where does the whole concept of death come in, and why do we, in a sense, disappear from a certain hologram?
That's a very good question. What happened was, okay, this is going to be a talk, but you asked the question. I have a little bit of time, so I'm going to explain to you. Because that was a manipulation. First of all, consciousness is always experiencing. So why not experience this type of death, right? You wanted to experience, you got so tired of being in the mountains, now you want to go in the beach area, right? So I decided to experience to go to the death. But remember, you were manipulated in an archon geometry structure, and we were manipulated there to keep us in a low vibration, because naturally through consciousness, when we came to earth, we had to naturally ascend vertically through one timeline into another in order to experience. You came here to the earth, you want to experience matter, dense matter, but not in a negative way. You wanted to feel like it's a matter, right? This is a different speed of the vibration, so you feel it this way. And just to ascend, but the ascension process, I have a video of that, how you ascend through the platforms. The ascension process was simply to merge reality of a higher consciousness in your structure, basically the way telepathically, but you created another hologram between them and you simply create a new reality. You shift into there, another planet. Or how could that be? Oh, all of a sudden you have an experience, spacecraft is coming to the planet Earth, you get in a spacecraft and you move into a different planet, and you continue living for another 3,000 years, whatever, through that platform, because of new technology. This is totally possible because you created in your hologram new reality. But what happened here? When they hijacked by implementing negative structures, by poisoning, by imprinting in your hologram that the mirror image is really you, and I'm going to tell you what your reality should be. You start believing and start looping into this illusion. They started to create timelines that are basically locked you in a three-dimensional reality. So now, naturally, you didn't know the knowledge of the alchemy of who you are to escape the hologram, right? To create a hologram above three-dimensional structure. If you didn't know the quantum structure of creation, how are you going to know how to control your platform's emotions in order to construct brand new reality? All the time you were believing that whatever they tell you on TV about storm and stuff like this is true, and not knowing that you can say, oh, thank you very much, this is your hologram, I will create my own. Let me just go and do it. By me thinking that, oh, it's beautiful. People will think you're crazy, right? But that was the reason. You were told to see it, to believe it, and it's the opposite. You have to know it, project it, create it, to shift into and becomes a matter. So when somebody hijacked our belief system, they taught us a different way of thinking. Why? Because they were creating a timeline that are artificial, that did not recognize the heart structure, didn't know how to get out of the matrix and create a new one above 3D. So you became like the battery for them, so you can work for them, support them by them sitting on top. And that section did not give you the opportunity. They bombarded you with poison, they bombarded you with vaccines and grids remember, around the planet that I was talking about. And this is exactly what happened to lock you in a three-dimensional structure, because you didn't know how to get out. Even if you knew, you had the grids. You get a zap, recycle right back in. And this was the problem that we have here, and that is the reason why all this stuff were happening. So what happened is, how are you gonna get out and not know what's happening? You gotta die. Let me create a reality by belief system that you're getting sick because I poison you and your body dies. So in your consciousness, you're creating realities like this, and instead for you to create reality to shift through the platform and continue in another timeline, you actually lock yourself in 3D by the only way to ascend is dying. And your soul is going. And actuality is absolute manipulation. You don't have to die. You recreate another reality by connecting with the higher sources, higher self, create another platform. I had a video between the extraterrestrials. If this is the ETs, on another timeline, and this is you, that for example is 7D, this is 5D, and this is 3D. If you were in the 3D here, you needed to know the knowledge to break down the 3D and to shift it to 5D, where is a heart structure. Now from the heart structure, you're starting to connect with higher consciousness of beings of extraterrestrials that are helping you and showing you how to hold the vibration of 5-dimensional structure. But now when you hear and you know what's happening, because you see now the platform, from here you can create between their reality and your reality, third reality of a hologram with them existing together. But in order to do that, you have to know the platforms, and you have to have a similar resonance with them consciously to hold the vibrational sequence of their frequency resonance in their holographic timeline.
Right.
And this is the reason why you have to, if you don't believe in ETs, that whole thing is blocked. It's never gonna exist. But if you do believe and you start reading books about it, you start connecting with people that channeling something like this, because somebody had to from 3D make the connection to download the information, so we all can give the info to shift into 5D to create timeline of 5D. So see how this works. It's like platforms of timelines. Once you get here, from this platform, you're starting to create, because now you're free, the grids are down, and starting projecting by connecting through frequency with them in order to give you a probability for a contact to construct realities, so you can see ETs, interstellar connection with the planet Earth, and eventually we become in a 6th race platform with extraterrestrial programs. Because eventually we're gonna go planetary. Not gonna sit here on the planet. You wanna go and explore different worlds. Why not? That is exciting. But to do that, you have to construct this new hologram. And the only way to do this is by you tuning yourself into these platforms. And let me tell you, we all know right now that you have the med pods that I talked to the previous video. We have, I did say that we have stem cells that can literally rebuild your own heart, your own tissue, your own kidney. And the only reason they're not transplanted is because the FDA was stopping it. That's why we need certain structures in government to collapse, because all this system is on standby. Once they collapse, I guarantee you're gonna hear, oh, somebody discovered this and somebody discovered that. It was already there, but was on standby because of the negative platforms. Once they collapse, you're gonna see step by step, because they're gonna systematically put that into society. Because if once all of a sudden happens, if we bomb it, people not gonna know how to deal with it. I'll be excited, but not everybody talks like that and is in this level. So I appreciate everything, but in my reality, I make you create some kind of a contact, and all of a sudden you have a situation that you go in a spacecraft. Well, all this is new technologies, but on the planet Earth, we can have these technologies by transplant rebuilding frequency and sound, your tissue. Remember I was talking about that. You know, well, do you need to die? Do you need to stay 80 years old or 70 years old? No, you're gonna do regeneration on your tissue and yourself. And guess what, guys? In a 20 years or 5 years, whatever this new technology, we're gonna look like 30 years old. You don't have to look like 80. I'm telling you, this is all possible. You rebuilding and regenerating and restructuring your own tissue structure. So all that was an illusion that you have to die and be buried in the ground, you know, in order for you to ascend. That's ridiculous. That was the manipulation. So I'm giving you a probability in your timeline, reality right now, if you wish to tune in into this stuff and just watch it. Listen, I have a book of, let me share a screen. Hopefully I find it. Her name is, I think, Suzanne Lee or...
Oh, Suzanne Lee?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Arcturian
The
channel.
Arcturian is Suzanne. I know the name, how to spell it, because I can't find, I don't know. Her books are totally for Arcturian ascension. It's fundamental. I know it's true. And I would, whoever wants to learn in interstellar and how you basically going into another realities, she channel good information for that. Okay, so I read a couple of, they actually wanted me to read some of this because it's starting to implement in your reality. Okay, so that will be a good one to read if you want to interstellar, because I was told to read some of the material, because then you're tuning into your consciousness into this type of probabilities of a timeline. And yet whoever wants to stay with the planet Earth, because I know some people go interstellar, some people staying with the planet Earth and helping. That doesn't mean all of a sudden you're shifting, you're going with the ETs, you don't see it. You're shifting back and forth. You may have a connection with the ET. Like they told me, like you're going to the store and coming back home. I have a video on that, right? But there were the singing, the Anastasia book, the series of, what was that, Billy? Anastasia books. Put that link underneath so people see it. Anybody that is planetary with the planet should read Anastasia books, and anybody that wants to go wants to learn more about interstellar, these books are, I highly recommend to you know, do stuff like this. But these books is not going to make too much sense if you didn't go through the quantum structure. Okay, so that's basically
that was great, Marina. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm reading Nick Barrett's book right now on lucid
dreaming.
dreaming.
Perfect, for lucid dreaming. Yeah, do that. Now, how many days did you practice already?
I haven't. I've really just gotten into the first few chapters, so.
Okay, my suggestion is from my experience. When you get into practicing every night, try to train and meditate yourself every night that you want to get up by yourself. Once you get up by yourself, you're going to train your consciousness to get up maybe every 2 to 2 hours and a half maximum. Okay. And when you get up this way, it's much easier. It's if the phone or the clock to wake you up, it stresses you out. If it stresses you out, you may not remember the dream.
One question, quick question. This is a quick question having to do with that. When you're dreaming, like I've had a sense when I've dreamt before that I was watching what was going on. Like I was awake and watching it. But do you actually have a sense that you are in a different place?
Yeah, when I woke up, that was the second week. You have to be calm. For some reason, I was very calm. And I said, oh, I'm dreaming. And I was like, the way, very calm. Do not get too excited. You get excited, you're gonna pop out. Okay. So you keep yourself calm. When you keep yourself calm, when you realize that you're awake, trust me, you're gonna think exactly the way you think right now. And what did they do every single time? What I wished is to go to spacecraft. So I immediately knew, and I thought, with my thought, I opened up a portal, and I went through the portal. Mm-hmm. And I did this twice. The second time when I was not, I went into somebody's body.
Oh.
got in a spacecraft, Hoover spacecraft, little one, and went into, and I was in a different platform. So when I didn't get in first time, the second time I went somebody else's, and I was not allowed to be there. So there are other ways of doing it. I experienced those 2-8, and twice I was not allowed. Why? Because I can do it from here. Why do I need to go to another state? Yet, that is my platform. That may not be your platform of connection. So experience everything, because you're never gonna know until you experience. And I needed to experience because probably of your question, how would I be a master of what I talk about it without me experiencing it?
Right.
So thank you so much. And by the way, I want to thank to everybody. If anybody donated, I want to thank you so much for your gifts, because I didn't check anything. But thank you so much to everybody, and thank you for coming. Next week is going to be restoration in the quantum structure. That is, I'm going to repeat again the first, maybe like a 5 minutes. And the second one is going to be continuous of whatever they gave me. So thank you so much, everybody.